everyone. Hi, subscribers. Hi, newbies. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, Vibes with Intuitively D. And today we have a restorative practice for the Saturn in Aries transit. If you didn't know by now, Saturn has moseyed his way out of Pisces into the sign of Aries on May 24th. He will retrograde back into Pisces, but let's just, for all intents and purposes, be settled on the fact that Saturn is going to be in a very uncomfortable sign for the next 2.5 years. So Saturn, the taskmaster, the disciplinarian of the zodiac, is transiting Aries, the warrior, the leader, the risk taker of the zodiac, and those two come together, and we will see what happens. But there is this, at least from my understanding and how I want to navigate this transit, there's this idea of wanting to be a leader, wanting to be a go-getter, wanting to take the risk, wanting to do all the things. And sometimes we've done that very impulsively without any experience, without any forethought. And Saturn wants us to have those things. He's not saying, no, you can't do those things. But what he is saying is it's time for you to plan. It's time for you to build strong foundations and structures. Slow down a little bit. Make sure your plan can be implemented with fidelity. Make sure you're building something on solid ground, right? And because Saturn wants things for the long term. So I like this transit. I think it's going, well, I don't know if I like it yet. Let me take that back. But what I can say about it is that it is going to mature a lot of us in the area where Saturn lives in our chart, right? So I'm a Leo rising. This is my ninth house. Foreign and abroad travel, expansion, higher knowledge, philosophy, things of that nature, teaching. And so I've already felt some inklings. What's going on here? I've already felt some inklings on how I want to expand foreign and abroad and teach. So I think there are some signs that are already there, and you might have gotten these signs and you're like, okay, let's go after it, let's do it. And then also like, oh wait, I need to like research a little bit more. I need to put a system in place a little bit more. And that is that. So I hope this little nudge this little blurb doesn't bug you. But yeah, I put timestamps at the description so you can fast forward through this if you like. But I'm also an intuitive astrologer and tarot reader, so I'm always going to infuse that into my practice. And here we go. I have one of my favorite decks from the Season of the Witch collection, Beltane Oracle. Happened on May 1st, and we're still, kind of in those vibes of not quite summer. And the card that I got, and I don't know if I can show this because this is on YouTube, but I'll do it like this, is Goddess. So this is the intention, this is the theme, this is the va-va-va-voom of our practice today. Hello, can I speak? Goddess, number 14, make sure to feel it in your bones, for you are what you believe. I think that's so good because Saturn does rule our skeletal system. It rules our bones. And Aries believes that they can do whatever they put their mind to, it can happen. So this message is like, you have it all. You just need to like make sure you have things in place to get what you need to move forward in whatever way. So yeah, that's exciting. I'll leave this here, or maybe I won't because I don't want to get flagged. But go ahead and pause the video and gather all the things that you need for our practice today. So as usual, I have 2 blocks, a blanket. I have 2 pillows. You can have as many pillows, blankets as you need. And we're going to start today cross-legged, just a slight little warm-up before we do 3 restorative practices plus Shavasana. So I'm going to invite you to sit in a very comfortable seated position. Maybe if it feels good and you feel safe and you're not driving, Lower your gaze or close your eyes all the way. Begin to notice the breath. Not judging the breath, but just noticing how it feels right now. Is it deep? Is it shallow? Maybe you notice the temperature of the breath as you inhale and exhale through the nostrils. And as you begin to observe the breath, you begin to ground down into your sits bones and straighten the spine just a little bit more as the breath can flow from the crown of the head down towards your tailbone. And maybe you just visualize this flow of the breath coming in through the crown, exhaling it through the tailbone, inhaling it through the tailbone, exhaling through the crown. And do that for a few rounds, creating some space between the day, the moment, the week, the year that we've already had, and letting the breath anchor you into this present moment, the here and the now. So much of the Saturn and Aries transit is going to be a call to slow down, to acknowledge your inner warrior, to acknowledge your assertiveness, your leadership skills, and in the same breath, take it slow. Pace yourself. And that's what we'll do today. Let's take a few collective breaths here together as a community. Deep inhale through the nose. Hold it at the top. Open the mouth, sigh it out. 2 more, just like that. Inhaling through the nose. Hold it at the top. Open the mouth, big sigh out. 1 more. If you like to set an intention or a dedication for this practice, this could be the breath to do so. Deep inhale through the nose. See that intention or dedication in your mind's eye as if it is so. Take another sip of air, and if you can, and when you're ready, deep sigh out. Begin to blink open the eyes, or as always, you can keep your eyes closed for this entire practice. It's up to you. Inhale, bringing the chest forward, circling the chest to the right side of our space. Curving the spine as we move backwards for some hip circles. And you can make these as slow as you like or as fast as you like. But the invitation today is slow them down. See if you can still feel grounded in between your sits bones. Still feel like you're doing something, but slower. Couple of more. And then next time you make it forward, go ahead and reverse the hip circles. If you can hear lawnmowers, there's just never a good time. Hopefully you don't hear it in the background. Begin to make the circle smaller and make your way back into a neutral spine. Inhaling, pulling the chest forward. Exhaling, curving the spine for some seated cat-cows. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. As we make our way back to our neutral spine, we're going to make our way into a tabletop. Just a few rounds of cat and cow, some hip circles, and then we'll drop in. So like I will always say, and now that I am 47, I'm going to say whether your knees are 27 or 47, and I'll diagonal, I'll vertically, I don't even know the word for it, honestly. Hopefully you're just entertained by my silliness. Put a blanket under them knees. That's all I really wanted to say. Inhaling, dropping the belly. Exhaling, curving the spine. A few rounds of cat and cow. And if you like to do something else, hip circles might feel lovely. I'm in the vibe right now of half hip circles, not going all the way around, but just half. Swaying from side to side might feel really good. If you're doing hip circles, go ahead and rotate in the other direction. And when you feel complete, coming back up to neutral spine, sitting back on the heels, and let's get into our first pose, which is a child's pose. So I'm going to keep my blanket just as it is to protect my knees. I'm going to bring my bolster, which is my pillow, in front of me because I'm going to support my chest. I even might need another one because, in all fairness, sometimes child's pose is not the most comfortable, but it's a good one to slow down the body. So we're going to, and actually, let me do it this way. That's probably a better way. You're going to widen your knees as wide as your mat, bringing your big toes to touch. Placing pillow in front of you, hands frame your bolster or your pillow, and you just lay down and you can adjust. All right, so I'm going to do it over here. I just wanted to show you all, and I do need another one. So here we go. And as I say always, allow yourself to adjust as many times as you need. Yep. Maybe your hands hug the bolsters or the pillows. And we settle in. Maybe you place a blanket in between your bum and your calves for a little more comfort. At this point in my practice, it doesn't bug me that there's a gap. And we come back to the breath. Come back to our intention. Come back to some stillness. And maybe here I'll leave you, and maybe hear you say this affirmation for this pose. I honor my energy by choosing intentional rest. I honor my energy by choosing intentional rest. If you like to balance your neck, go ahead and flip to the other cheek and come back to your breath. If you need to make any other adjustments, we'll just be here for about 5 more breaths. Go ahead and do that. Begin to deepen your inhale and your exhale. Bringing your hands to your low ribs, pressing through, making your way back to a tabletop. And here maybe you sway from side to side again. And then let's set up for our next pose, which is Supta Baddha Konasana. And so, recline butterfly pose. You can be flat on the mat, but I'll show you with props. So I'll have one bolster like that, the other like that. Spinning the hip, moving my blanket. Hello. Spinning the hip so it's right up against the pillow. Having my blocks near because who knows how my hips feel today. Let me scoot this down a little bit. Yep. Alrighty. Having the blocks close by, bringing the soles of the feet to touch. The blocks can be under the knees. Bringing the blanket because I love a blanket over the belly. And then gently laying back on your pillow, your bolster, or flat on your mat. You don't want to back bend, so you just want to make sure that the back is fully, your spine is fully supported. And as you make your way, taking your time, seeing if you need blocks, you don't need blocks, you have to adjust a little bit more so you feel fully supported. Your hands can be wherever you like them to be. Maybe they're on the belly somewhere to help you feel really grounded and safe and secure. Maybe you want to take up some space, so they're just out by your side. And then you come back to your breath. Invitation to close the eyes if it feels safe, to lower the gaze if it feels safe. And as you make your way into a rested position, I have a affirmation for Supta Baddha Konasana. I lead with clarity and not urgency. Saturn and Aries are both leaders. Saturn rules our government. Aries rules leaders. And both want the same outcome. They just do it in two different ways. So can we drop into this? I can lead with clarity and not urgency. Not every email, not every call needs to be answered immediately. Feeling the open chest, opening the hips, releasing this need to hurry up, or maybe even this idea that you can't be a leader. Opening the chest, knowing that your self-confidence is there, that you can, and releasing any self-doubts. Just a few more breaths here. But as usual, as always, per use, you can stay here as long as you like. Begin to deepen your inhale. Deepen your exhale. Maybe bringing the hands under your knees to bring the knees back to center. Setting the blocks just a little bit away. Moving the blanket if you had a blanket. Gently rolling over to either side, pressing through the arms and the hands to come back up to a gentle seated position so we can move into our next pose, which is a legs up the wall, except we're not going to do it up the wall, but you will see how it goes. So pillow, bolster, you can even use a block for this. We're going to lay back down onto our backs, bringing our heels close to the bum, pressing into the bum, lifting our hips, sliding, our pillow under. So we're in a supported bridge, getting comfy here. And then when you're ready, extending both legs up to the sky. Maybe getting some wiggles out. This is so good for headaches, so good for circulation. I'm even going to bring my blanket back. You could throw your blanket as a weighted blanket on top of your feet, but I don't recommend. And then once again, choose how you want your arms to be. I love a cactus arm, but once again, you could ground them onto the body. It could be now to your side. And then, of course, I have an affirmation here. Take a few breaths here. And the affirmation for legs up the wall is stillness fuels my need for rest. Stillness fuels my need for rest. And actually, you could put any word at the end of that sentence, and it would make sense. A few more breaths here, just taking it all in, allowing the blood to flow in the opposite direction. This is so good for your organs. And this is a huge transit, Saturn and Aries, for us. For the last 2.5 years, Saturn has been in Pisces. When you feel complete, bringing one leg down at a time, planting them. And maybe you like to stay here for your Shavasana, on the bolster, just like this, knees bent. Or maybe you like to move into a more classical Shavasana, moving the bolster out the way, coming flat onto the mat. Maybe you like to use your pillow as an actual pillow. Wherever you are, feel free to mosey your way into Shavasana. Allowing yourself to come back into stillness. Noticing how the body feels at this present moment compared to when you started the practice. And you can stay here as long as you like. But if you are ready to end your practice, we're going to end in a grounded shape. Invitation to place 2 hands over the heart, 1 hand over the heart, 1 hand over the belly. Tucking your chin to chest, giving yourself gratitude for showing up for this nourishing practice, for making yourself a priority in a time and a space where we're told not to, for resting because it's your birthright and not something you earn. The love, the light, the compassion in me most definitely honors the love, the light, the compassion in you. I wish you nothing but ease and flow on and off of your mat. See you next practice, friends. If you'd like to work with me, I think my link tree is in the description. I hold new and full moon circles. I'll be here pretty regularly now. And do a couple of lives soon. If there's anything that you'd like to see, please leave a comment. Please share. Please subscribe. Please comment. It helps the YouTube algorithm find me. And if this resonated with you, please also let me know that. I will see you next time. Bye.